we have a standard for that position, regardless of who's in there. Practice, games, how we operate, what we believe in. We have a very, very high standard.
The Cleveland Browns are one play away from talking about one of these two kids starting. And the scary thing is, instead of preparing them and getting them ready to play and getting them ready to be a guy that's going to back up a 41-year-old quarterback, you play games and have them thrown on the side field.
Well, first off, they just didn't want to make a hard decision, right? Figuring out who's going to be number two is going to be a difficult decision. It would have been a much harder decision to figure out which one of those young men would start. And when you look at what the Cleveland Browns are doing, this is why people spin the block in relationships, right? You remember, hey, man, I had a great relationship with this person. Then I moved to this person and it wasn't so good.
The Cleveland Browns just shook the NFL world with a bombshell announcement. At 40 years old, veteran Joe Flacco has been officially named the Week 1 starting quarterback. On paper, it's not shocking. His resume and experience speak for themselves. But what's igniting the fan base isn't the decision itself. It's what feels like a blatant snub of 23-year-old rookie Shedeur Sanders. Coming off an electrifying preseason performance, 14 of 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, his momentum was crushed by an oblique injury. And just like that, instead of fighting for meaningful snaps, his shot has vanished into thin air. Now the burning question is this: is Stefanski focused on winning today at all costs? Or is he blind to tomorrow? Is this the safe play or a complete lack of vision? Analysts like Garrett Bush are saying it straight. This looks like nothing more than playing games with a kid who should be the future. And it's not just the fans, journalists and insiders are calling this a missed opportunity to shape something bigger. So is this quarterback plan a temporary bridge or the wall blocking the Browns' future?
Is what I feel about.
But that's the thing. If they don't play, Swag, how do you know? Like even if they're at practice and like Jason said, we're seeing them do well against the ones playing well in 7-on-7. It's still practice.
We're talking about practice, but RC,
not the game.
That's the question that I'm asking.
Ryan Clark didn't pull a single punch. He said flat out that Shedeur Sanders hasn't been given the playing time he's earned. And honestly, he's right. How can the Browns claim to be preparing for their future if they won't even let their most intriguing prospect touch the field in real games? Clark highlighted what insiders have been whispering for weeks. Every time Shedeur has been tested in practice, he's delivered. Calm in chaos, precision throws, a natural leader's presence, everything you'd want in a franchise quarterback. Yet with no live game reps, his true ceiling remains hidden. And Garrett Bush doubled down with even harsher words, saying Kevin Stefanski doesn't actually care about doing the right thing. Instead of building his young quarterback, Stefanski has shoved Shedeur to the sidelines, letting him rot with the support staff, while piling valuable snaps onto a 41-year-old Flacco, who is always one hit away from disaster. Bush called it what it is, a pattern. Not a one-off, but a repeated cycle where bad decisions turn into wasted seasons. And according to him, this right here is the moment where the Browns start spiraling, dropping the ball once again while their fans scream, "Have we learned nothing?"
You play games and have them thrown on the side field with support staff. This is the stuff that the Cleveland Browns drop the ball on every single time. They worry about the wrong stuff.
And Garrett Bush has a point, because the pattern is undeniable. Just look at Stefanski's most recent press conference. The discomfort was written across his face the second Shedeur Sanders' name was brought up. His hesitation wasn't subtle, it was glaring. When reporters pressed him on why he suddenly started his main quarterback in the third preseason game, something he completely avoided last year, his answer was vague at best. We do what the players need. That's not leadership, that's avoidance. A head coach with a vision doesn't dodge, doesn't deflect, and doesn't dance around the future of his franchise. Instead, Stefanski's words only poured gasoline on the fire, because if you really read between the lines, it feels like the Browns don't actually know what to do with Shedeur Sanders. And that's bigger than a quarterback controversy. That's a leadership crisis from the very top down.
This year will be that joint practice in week 1. And then this year, just feel like that's what this team needs to get ready. Try to every single year make decisions based on what the guys need. So that's what we'll do.
Here's the heart of the issue. Shedeur Sanders has not been given a single real chance. No game snaps, no first team reps, nothing. So how exactly does that match Stefanski's claim of doing what the players need? If the Browns truly believe in developing talent, then burying Sanders on the bench makes absolutely no sense. And fans aren't just noticing, they're furious. The one quarterback who excites them, the one who actually looks like the future, hasn't been trusted to show his skills under the lights. Instead of confidence, Stefanski's comments now sound like excuses. Instead of clarity, his decisions only raise more doubt. It's not just about a young quarterback sitting, this is about whether the Browns even have a plan at all. And the longer Shedeur stays sidelined, the more it feels like they're squandering the very hope their fan base is clinging to.
So your quarterback didn't play.
Last year?
Yeah, Watson.
Yeah.
And the uncertainty around Stefanski's choices keeps piling up. When asked again about the quarterback decision, his response was short, clipped, and vague. We'll make that call in a couple of days. But let's be real, choosing your starting quarterback on such a tight deadline doesn't scream strategy. It screams stalling. And fans aren't fooled. This doesn't look like a competition. It looks like a setup to shove Shedeur further into the shadows. Stefanski's unclear answers don't inspire confidence. They sound like delay tactics. And in the NFL, hesitation is just as costly as the wrong move. When pressed directly about Sanders, Stefanski admitted he didn't expect him back this week. But it wasn't just the words, it was the tone. To fans, it sounded less like concern and more like relief, as if Stefanski doesn't actually want Sanders back too soon. Why? Because once Shedeur is cleared to play, the coach won't be able to dodge the controversy anymore. And right now, it looks like Stefanski is doing everything possible to delay the inevitable showdown between Flacco and Sanders.
Shedeur, do you expect them to increase their level of participation in practice this week?
I hope so. We really have to take those day by day, so I don't know where that ends up towards the end of the week, but I'm hopeful.
Then Adam Schefter stepped in with some context, and it was brutal. According to him, this all comes down to investment. The Browns didn't spend premium draft capital on Shedeur Sanders. They grabbed him in the 5th round, more of a flyer than a franchise commitment, and because of that, there's no urgency, no push to develop him, no spotlight. Sanders wasn't drafted to take over, Schefter said. He was drafted as a maybe, and that mindset is exactly why he's being shelved instead of groomed. But here's the danger. If Sanders really is as talented as people believe, then burying him isn't just wasted potential, it's self-sabotage. Then Marcus Spears, Swagoo, dropped the counterpunch. If they invested so little, what's the harm in giving him real chances? Practice reps, preseason snaps, live game action. That's how you discover hidden gems. He pressed Stefanski's logic. Even a 5th rounder costs resources, so why not see if the kid can shine? In Swagoo's eyes, the Browns aren't just cautious, they're wasting golden opportunities by keeping Shedeur locked away.
Understand, because I'm with you. Why wouldn't they be competing in practice, in preseason, to become a starter? Why wouldn't you want, if you Kevin Stefanski, and you know that a lot of this stuff is predicated on probably your job in the next couple of years, however long you last, why wouldn't you be trying, day one, if it's Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel, why are you not trying to find out if they can start for your football team before the season?
And here's where it all ties together. Stefanski's decision to lean on Joe Flacco might create short-term stability, but it leaves giant long-term questions hanging over Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders has shown flashes of real promise, the poise, the accuracy, the leadership, but he's being kept in the shadows. Analysts are blasting the move, fans are furious, and even insiders admit the Browns don't seem to have a real plan for his development. At its core, this isn't about week 1, it's about the Browns' future. Do they keep clinging to veteran stopgaps, or do they finally commit to building a true franchise quarterback? Until Stefanski proves he has vision, this cloud of uncertainty will hang over the team. And the longer the Browns stall, the higher the cost could be. But here's the real question. What do you think? Are the Browns making the right call leaning on Flacco, or are they wasting Shedeur Sanders' potential before it even gets a chance to shine? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like and subscribe for more breaking news and analysis, because this quarterback drama is only heating up.